Alright, there she is, boys, just as we left her. So I've been getting a lot of wild hairs lately, and the latest is to disassemble this lawnmower here and possibly make it into a race lawnmower. If you watched my previous episode on this model, I removed the transmission, and I may end up utilizing it for this wild hair build. So I'm going to continue taking this mower apart. I think I'm going to keep the front end on, but definitely take off this engine and rear axle here. And if you remember, this poor axle suffered a pretty serious situation. That's not supposed to do that. So it looks like to take off this axle, I just need to possibly disconnect the bearings here on each side. So let's do that. I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing once I take it apart, but I know that I'm not going to use this, so let's go ahead and take it off. This is a 9/16 socket. And it's a carriage bolt, so you don't have to have a wrench on the other side, which is nice. That was easy enough. That side's off. Not gonna go. All right. Time to put some old man strength on it. Oh boy, that wasn't too hard at all. My battery must be getting low on my drill. Right. Oh man, I didn't want to get dirty today. Looks like I missed one of the nuts here. I'm going to save all these parts. I may end up reusing them with whatever I'm going to do with this old mower. And really, are you even a mechanic if you're not using an old beer keg for your work table? Let's see. Can I get this wheel through here? What do you think, boys? I'm going to give it a shot. I don't have my chain breaker out here. There we go. Whoa! Alright, let's work on getting this engine out of here. You can see the motor mount bolts. There's 4 of them. And then we got to take this pulley off, which can sometimes be a pain in the butt. So I'm going to go ahead and put some lubricant on all this stuff. Try to help us out. hell am I going to get to those other... Oh, there we go. Now you can see the bolt. Alright, so we have a 1/2 inch socket here. It looks like I'm going to have to put a wrench on the other side. I don't think this socket's long enough. Of course not. Let's try this one. Yep. One down, 4 to go. Oh, you know, I think I'm going to take off this pulley here first. So the best way to take off this bolt is with a pneumatic driver. If you don't have one, it's a 5/8, by the way. You can see what happens is it just turns. And there's a few different ways you can lock this up. But I do have a trick. Tech tip number 6648. Get a big hammer and give it a good sharp blow. Sometimes you have to do it a few times. Check it out, it's already loose. It's a big old bolt. Alright, now is when you pray and you hope that this pulley comes off easy. It usually doesn't, but sometimes you get lucky. Oh no, it's locked on there. So, time for a little bit more of this stuff. See if you can get in there and whack it a little bit. Not so much. Oops, I don't want to lose that. So this is always a hard part. I always try to avoid using pullers because they just bend pulleys when the pulleys are really rusted on. Looks like that piece just comes off. I won't be needing that anymore. And I won't be needing that anymore. Hammer, long crowbar. Let's see what happens. See any movement yet? I don't think so. I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just going to use this damn puller. Got to put your bolt back in. I hate pullers. Sometimes they work good. We should definitely be wearing eye protection. Alright, this one's actually, it's working, so that's good. Very good. Back out this bolt a little bit now. Dang thing's still not coming off real easy. Well, there we go. All right, so now we can go ahead and take off the final two motor mount bolts, and this engine should just fall right off of here. I think if I take off that spring, I can loosen up that bracket. There we go. So one thing I'm noticing about this old Toro here, I think that's a Toro, or is it a snapper? No, it's a Toro, is that all the nuts are these nylocks from the factory, which I mean, that shows that they took little more care in putting these things together. They were a good machine when they came out. All right. Another spring for my collection. And it looks like I can get to that motor mount bolt without struggling now. I've been meaning to take this engine off of here because it's blown. Or at least locked up. And I'll be putting a bigger engine on this thing anyways, probably a twin cylinder. Make it go fast. Okay, one more bolt to go, and this engine should come off of here. Looks like that one, the nut's already gone on that motor mount. Or did I already take that one off? I think it's missing. I can't remember. All right, so, oh, look at that. That comes right off. That's good. So it looks like all of this is all part of the deck mechanism, which I'm not going to use. So I'm going to take these brackets off too. All lock nuts. Looks like I can disconnect this rod. Alright, so I think we have most of the stuff off of the bottom of this lawnmower now that I wanted to get off. So I'm going to flip it back over. Alright. Man, I wonder if I can lift this engine out of here to make this thing a little bit lighter. Oh yeah. We're still attached by a few things, but I think I can move it to the side here. There we go. All right, let me take off this cable on the starter motor here. And there was a fuse in here that I had to disconnect. And over on this other side, looks like we have kill switch and throttle cable. And then we'll be able to fully remove this engine. So the black wire goes to your coil, the blue wire goes to your ignition switch probably. So that's your kill wire. This is a 5/16 socket. I didn't have one out here, so luckily I'm able to use my pliers on this thing. Bolts weren't too tight. And out comes the cable. And the engine's free. All right. To the shop it goes. Well, as you can see, I took pity on this old flathead. It's an 8 horsepower. Got it all cleaned up, hosed down, and decided to, I thought it was locked up, but this sucker turns over and it feels like it has compression. So I don't think it was necessarily locked up. I think maybe just the belts were frozen onto the pulleys or rusted onto the pulleys, which was preventing the engine from turning over. So I think we're going to try to get this thing running, boys. 8 horsepower flathead.
Let's do this.